Hi, good day to all. I am Dr. VT Gopomar, and I hope all are safe at home during this COVID pandemic time. And this video is explaining why should you become an engineer or why should you choose engineering as a career. So, in order to explain more details about the same, let me share one PPT. Kindly hold on for 1 second. Yes, this is our discussion point today. Why do you become an engineer? So this figure shows India's three famous engineers. The first one is Sir Visvesvaraya, and he was an eminent civil engineer, and his birthday is celebrated as Engineers Day in India. And second one is Professor Satish Dhawan. He was an eminent aerospace engineer, and he is also known as the father of experimental fluid dynamics. And third one, I don't think any introduction needed. The people's president and the missile man of India, the great APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay. And this is the world famous engineers of today's world. Elon Musk, he is chief executive officer of the electric car manufacturing company Tesla, as well as he is chief executive officer of this private aerospace company SpaceX. According to him, engineering is the closest thing to magic that exists in the world. Okay. So engineers are generally known as nation builders. Why? Because they find the societal needs time to time and apply their scientific knowledge creatively and solve the problems. Okay, exist in the society. So engineers are working the range from deep sea drilling to outer space, and this is the engineers working in deep sea to drill out, explore the natural gases and fuels. And this one is the optical fiber cable that is called a transatlantic cable that is laid down under sea around 3,200 kilometers. Okay, and this figure I was taken from the ISRO website when India's Mangalian Mars orbital mission was launched. Okay, so I am closing at this one at this point, and these two figures I have collected from this NASA's website. This is in news that NASA's uh, Mars 2020 rover Perseverance landed on the surface of Mars, and this also carries a robotic helicopter. And this figure shows the test flight that is happening. Ingenuity. The name of this helicopter is Ingenuity, that is taking the test flight in the this atmosphere of Mars. And this one engineer from Ernakulam gets a GitHub helicopter contributed badge. That is also in recent news. That is May 9, 2021. GitHub is open forum for a coding expert. He wrote the code for this test flight of this helicopter. Okay. So I was saying that these engineers are working deep sea. Nowadays, engineers are controlling robots. Engineers are designing robots and sending to the deep sea for operation instead of human beings. And one of them is Ocean One, takes undersea archaeological and coral reef. And this figure is very, very important. The engineers are exploring undersea operation for this oil and natural gases. This is a sea level and this is a sea floor. The difference between these two is almost 5 kilometers down, and moving down here and reaching out to the sea floor, again drilling down almost 1 kilometer to explore the natural gases and fuels. And these engineers here controlling everything, and they are communicating to the seashore office through silent communication. Okay. So these are the famous engineers. Already I described about Sir Visvesvaraya, Satish Dhawan, this Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and this Raghuram Rajan, the former RBI chief, Metro Man, and missile woman of India, Tessie Thomas, Infosys former chief, Narayana Murthy, Satya Nadella, this Nobel Prize winner, Kailash Satyarthi, Reliance chief, Mukesh Ambani, Baiju Ravindran, Sundar Pichai, all are famous engineers. They did their engineering study from India, become world famous. Okay. So in order to some engineers are become entrepreneurs. One of them is Sajin Bensal. He started the very famous e-commerce company Flipkart in year 2007. And according to him, we are engineers. We can do anything. Okay, that words are very important for engineers. And Ola Cab started by two engineers from India, and there is a competitor for Uber, and Zomato started by Indian engineers, Paytm, and this Mukesh Bensal started the Mintra, the e-commerce for fashion technology. Okay. So while we are talking about engineers, the lady engineers from India also world famous. So some of them are shown here. So this is ISRO scientist Dr. V.R. Lalithambiga. She is the head of India's first human flight program. And this lady, Srimati Subha Warrior, she was in charge of when India launched 104 satellites simultaneously in sun synchronous orbit. She was doing the whole video processing and video recording. And Priya Balasubramaniam working in vice president at Apple Corporation, and Nandini Ramani as Vice President of Engineering Twitter, and Komal Mandagini, Head of Data Engineering Uber, and Aparna Ramani is the Director of Engineering Facebook, and Anjali Joshi is the Vice President of Google, and Anju PS, she is a Keralite. These three are Keralite. She became the first sound engineer from India. All they did their engineering from India and become world famous. Okay. So, in civil service examination as well, engineers shown their presence, dominating. Engineers are dominating in civil service examinations as well. So, this is in recent news that the top 25, the first 25 UPSC rank holders in civil service, 12 of them are engineers, and more than 50% of selected Indian civil service officers are from engineering background. Okay. So engineers are outshine in defense field as well. That is Air Force, Navy, and this Army, Indian Army, both male and female engineers. In addition to that, they are doing their work. They are outshine in paramilitary forces like CRPF, BSF, etc. So one thing you have to remember that after completing plus two degree or after completing normal degree, when they are joining in this defense service, they become a junior commissioned officer after 25 to 30 years of service. So engineers, after completing at the age of 21 or 22 years, they are directly become commissioned officers. So once again, I repeat. So normally, pre-degree, plus two students or degree holders joining the Indian Army, Air Force, or Navy, they become junior commissioned officer after 20-25 years. But engineers are become directly entering as commissioned officers. That much opportunities for engineers in defense service. So the requirement of engineers on irrespective of branches on an exponential rise. So this I have taken from World Economic Forum, where most wanted professions is software engineers and developers. Any stream of engineer, any branch of engineers can become software engineers and developers. Then the chances for electronics engineers, then mechanical engineers, and these things we are seeing quite often in these employment pages or opportunity pages in newspaper dailies, that fast growing IT sector hiring engineering from all stream. So irrespective of a branch of study, you can become an IT engineer, okay, software engineer. So the issue in numbers. So in 2024, we required 1.86 lakhs of engineer in addition to the normal requirement, and annual intake increased to 20,000 in addition to the usual intake of engineer in year wise. Okay. So where these engineers are working, this is very, very important. You should know engineers are working in all spectrum of life. So defense and aerospace, information technology, healthcare, supply chain, education, research, management, technical sales and marketing, military and homeland security, energy sectors, public service, manufacturing, finance and banking service industry. So a wide spectrum of opportunities for engineers. Okay. So engineering, without doubt, we can say one of the most prestigious and highest paying profession in the world. And engineers are trained in reputed institute like Adi Shankara Institute of Engineering and Technology become what you wish to be. Okay.